All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of These Corona Times. You are tuned in with your three favorite folks. We got Mr. Brandon. Start with him first.
I'm first again for the second week in a row. Yeah. Appreciate it.
I'm going to normalize putting Brandon first, is what I'm
doing. Yes. King moves.
Yes.
Getting ready for Valentine's Day.
That's right.
King moves.
We're gonna put our king first.
Put the man first. Joking.
Yeah,
we are the prize.
Yes. That's not true. That's not true. Can I finish my introductions? Goodness. Mr. Yes. Brandon is here. Dr. Bruce is here. And your cousin is here. My goodness, gang. My goodness. You all are a rowdy bunch this evening.
Not my fault.
We want to welcome you back to These Corona Times. Tonight we are talking about our health in these Corona times. And I'm not going to give any of the orientating away because I want Brandon to do all of that later. So instead I will say thank you so much for this continued support. We appreciate you all watching us from week to week. As you know, or if you're new to the show, we come on every Monday evening at 8 o'clock in 2021 because we are destined to be on time this year.
We're reclaiming our time in 2021.
Reclaiming our time. Although I have found out that our time slot coincides directly with All American, and I don't like that, but I don't watch it on Mondays anyway. Yeah, it comes on at Monday.
Me either.
I watch it on Tuesday anyway.
I can't get on the app on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the channel, so I watch it on Tuesdays after they put it on the CW app. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you all for clicking on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe at These Corona Times on either Facebook or YouTube. Thank you all so much for tuning in and talking with us last week. We enjoyed the conversation. And we are excited to talk about this episode tonight. So with that said, how y'all been doing? Everybody good?
Feeling good.
Feeling good?
Pretty good. Yeah. It was sad. We had a passing, as I'm sure all of you all know by now, about Cicely Tyson passing away. Mm-hmm. Definitely wasn't ready for that. Right. I know that she was 96, but it's just certain people in our community that you're not ready to let go of, and she definitely was one of them.
Yeah. When I heard the news, I was like, somebody please right now go hide James Earl Jones and Harry Belafonte. Put them in a...
Okay, exactly.
Protect them. Right.
I even said Denzel. I know Denzel ain't nowhere near their age, but we have to protect Denzel for all time.
Now, Denzel is a prize, okay? He's the treasure.
Yes, he is.
Got you, but I can't be a prize. I got you.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
I got you.
Definitely sad to hear about the passing of Cicely Tyson, but someone, I want to say it was Brandon may have said, 96 is a good long time. She did a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, 90, I think she had a 60-year career, something like that. She had a 60-year career, and by all accounts, again, because we don't know her personal life like that, but it seemed like leading up to her passing, she still had her mental faculties, and she wasn't like super sick or anything like that. Again, we don't know that for sure because we're not in her personal life like that. But from the outside looking in, seemed like she was just doing what she was doing. And I got to go at 96 like that. I mean, I'm not going to be upset.
Right. Yeah. Her last interview, and if people haven't seen it, I definitely suggest y'all go back and watch it, was with Gayle King, I believe. And she said, this wasn't some doddering old woman. She had on her stilettos and her makeup and her lipstick, and she was talking to me. She was totally together.
Yeah.
And she talked about how, of course, when you're older like that, they always ask you what you want to be, how you want to be remembered. And she just talked about she wants people to know that she did her best, and among other things. And I mean, she certainly, that's an understatement that she did her best. I don't know if no foolishness, I know mess, not that would have, diminished her light in any way, because we're all human, but she just put out good work consistently and just was a wonderful role model.
Yeah. And was still acting into her 90s. She's on some episodes of How to Get Away with Murder, which was just a couple years ago. So, still very much had all her faculties, and, very impressive. They're referring to her as icon, queen, legend. All those things are, I think, notable terms for her. So for sure.
And her memoir, literally 5 hours before, there was a tweet that went out, and I was like, she can't be dead as a tweet.
Yeah.
For real.
Just tweeted us.
Right. So yeah.
But yeah. In addition to that, it's been an interesting week. We ain't gonna stay on it too long, but T.I. and Tiny are wilding out. Go Google that for yourselves.
Poor T.I. and Tiny. They need to get it together.
They need to get that together.
Well, I'm not gonna say poor them. If they did wrongdoing and hurt people, then not poor them. Poor the victims. But well, you know,
whatever they have done was consensual.
It was consensual.
That's what your boy. That's what your boy said.
That's what he said.
Oh yeah, go Google that for yourselves. Maybe we'll cover that another week because we have not caught up on that story at all.
And y'all ever listen to their show or to his show Expeditiously?
No,
I think no. I knew he had a show, but I've never really listened.
He is the king of big words saying big words and not saying nothing, boy. I tell you, his show is called Expeditiously. That makes me laugh.
Yeah. I think it's because it has a T.I. in it.
Yes,
probably.
Is the T and the I uppercase
together?
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe.
You know, wouldn't be surprised if the stories that they're saying are true. I'd be shocked. I'd be a little hurt because I think what they have tried to do since he's got out of prison is they really tried to rebrand they'selves.
Yeah.
I know they've gone through some ups and downs as a family, but they've really tried to like show a blended family. Like they have a television show. They're both business people. You know, they try to get back to the community. So I'm not saying they're perfect or anything like that. I'm just saying it would be saddening if all of these accusations were true. Because I'm like, I think they were trying to do something with themselves, with their name, with their status, but you know.
Yeah, and he's become really active, or at least vocal politically and social justice wise and everything. And that's never a bad thing when you have somebody of means in the community. So, and plus they have kids. Whenever I think about doing anything, people are accusing allegedly of doing things that are not consensual or, you know, trafficking folks, which is all alleged, of course. And just, I'm like, let that not be true, especially if you have children.
Right.
So let's hope it's not true.
Yep. And in addition to that, we have impeachment trials looming, which Simone thinks is not going to happen.
And ain't nothing going down. It's a nothing, what they call a nothing burger.
A nothing burger?
They call it a nothing burger, nothing sandwich or whatever. That's
everybody's getting all conspiracy-esque now. You know, I'm hearing all these it's a false flag, and this is like the fake Parkland shooting, all that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? Now the insurrection was planned. It was pre-planned by the Democrats.
The Democrats did it. Oh, okay.
Wait, that's a great story. Yes, we Democrats did it. Okay.
Yeah, run with that. Go ahead. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of grumblings about people who had gone down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump and, you know, talking about his future in the party. And so I just think that nothing's going to happen, that there are people who are still, instead of being on the right side of this and, you know, acknowledging the wrongdoing, they're looking out for their political futures. So I just think nothing's going to happen.
They're trying to be where the money resides.
They want to be with the money. I want to be where the money resides.
Then they shouldn't be with him because he ain't got no money. The money don't reside with him.
All I'm here for, if they're not going to get him there, that's fine. Let the charges start rolling.
Yes.
Okay? Let's go ahead and get the charges in other areas start rolling, because there's got to be how everybody else around you go to jail, and not just now, but the whole 4 years. You know what I mean? Like Michael Cohen, how everybody else go to jail and you don't go to jail?
You just chilling.
You just skate on by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So something's got to give. But anyway, so what self-care did y'all do this week? How'd y'all take care of yourselves this past week?
I got back on my sleeping routine.
Okay.
Yeah,
have you been doing your 5 a.m.? You haven't been doing your 5 a.m., have you?
So I don't have to do 5 a.m. every day because there's some nights where I don't get home from work until later, so I'm not going to do 5 a.m. But I do it at least 3 times a week.
Nice. Okay.
I'm not getting up that early.
No, that will not happen. Unless it's an accident. Unless I have to get up and use the restroom.
Exactly.
Go back to sleep.
You're saying it's not going to be planned for you then?
No. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be very upset about it if I have my. Tiff, what about you?
I was about to say I did nothing this week, but actually I did do something. It kept me up a little bit later, but it was a difficult week this week. It's been a lot going on, a lot of sad news this week. So I was trying to clear my mind in the evenings and basically spend some time watching TV. So vegging out a little bit, catching up on some movies. Saw some great and not so great documentaries, biopics of
Listen.
So
I know you're not talking about Wendy Williams.
No, that was
wonderful.
Good. That was good. I enjoyed it. I'm talking about the other one that I watched.
Yes. Well.
But also, I finally watched like Sylvie's Love and finally watched something else I was trying to watch and hadn't done yet. So I really just made some time this week and closed the computer, stepped away from work, and just took some time. Joel and I sat on the couch and just watched movies and just kind of enjoyed the evening. So it made it less stressful during the week. So I guess my self-care.
That's what's up.
We gotta talk about Sylvie's Love. Have you seen it, Brandon?
I have not seen it yet.
Come on.
Okay, we gotta talk about that. I couldn't get into it. I thought it was like, okay, is something about to happen now? And then it was like, oh.
It wasn't.
You know what, Simone? But you Simone also said she didn't like One Night in Miami. So
yeah, Simone, I think you're off right now.
I'm a little off. I'll give you that. I'm a little off.
Yeah.
But what I did do though, and my two friends here know, I took a night by myself. I went to a really nice hotel in Uptown Charlotte and spent the evening by myself. And I got room service and spent whatever monies I wanted to, which these two know.
That's
don't
a big
do
deal.
That. I was ordering all the room service. I'm not even gonna look at the bill. I'm not gonna look at it. I'm gonna let Sean look at it.
I thought I was cheap until Simone.
I know I'm not cheap, but I know Simone is cheap.
I am cheap. I am. But I ordered all the foods, and it was just really, really nice to get away and have that time. And Caden, of course, gave me the guilt trip. He said, "Mommy, why do you want to leave us so bad?"
Hurt that boy's feelings, man.
I'm telling you, since that boy got that haircut, he's on a new level.
Bucking up.
I'm saying.
I know. He's a mess. So that is what I did.
Mom, do you even love me anymore?
Right. He said, "Are you gonna come back?" Really?
Mommy, how could you ever leave us? How could you ever?
Right. Terrible child. So hopefully, my hope is that we can flip the script and Sean can do the same thing because he definitely deserves it. And so I'm gonna push that. I'm gonna push him to do that.
You push him,
but he's not. Huh?
You go ahead and push him, but let me tell you how the evening's gonna go. Sean gonna be lights out by 7:30.
I know. The minute the door locks, he's gonna be out. Like,
and that's all. And that's all you need.
You've been calling and you're not answering.
He's been sleeping. That's all. That's all I need. That's all I need. Just give me some sleep. I'll go out and grab my food. I don't even need all that. I just need to sleep and know that nobody's gonna bother me.
Yeah,
exactly. So that is what I did, but I'm glad that you all found ways to take care of yourselves as well. So this week is a little unique because we're acknowledging our Black person, and it's actually Brandon Howard.
We're acknowledging
Howard.
You. Look.
Yes.
Me? Me?
I don't like King. Howard Power Fitness, okay? Brandon Howard of Howard Power Fitness. Brandon is a certified health coach and personal trainer with specialty certifications in fitness, nutrition, orthopedic exercise, and therapeutic exercise. He has been in the health coaching and personal training game for 10 years and has clients ranging from, you're old, ranging from age range from early 20s to early 80s. He's based in Louisville, Kentucky, of course, but he trains and coaches clients around the country. So I have to say also, he's it seems like you're a mentor as well, because people call you other, prospective trainers who want to do what you do. They call you, I'm not gonna name any names. My mom actually shadowed Brandon at least once and was so impressed and still talks about it, which I'm like, Mom, stop talking about Brandon, stop. But no, I'm just joking. But she, really looks at you like a mentor and somebody to kind of aspire to be like. So um tell us briefly, what does training or coaching relationship look like with you, Brandon?
For man, because I hate sounding corny and I hate sounding cliche, but when I work with people, it's really a team effort between myself and the person. If you're looking for someone to just tell you what to do, that's not my deal, because my overall goal for that person is to actually learn something, and you can only do that when you're working together. So I don't come up with goals. We come up with the goals that we do. As far as the exercising and everything like that, we come up with what works best. One of the funniest things that took place with my last client, and we went over her eating guide, went over her exercise, and she was going over it, and she was like, "Oh wow, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that." And she was like, "We talked about. Wait a minute, we talked about this." I was like, "Yeah, everything that you told me was, things that you like, what you didn't like, the foods that you like, foods that you don't like, all that went into prepping your plan and everything like that." And she was like, "Wow, this is the first time I've never felt overwhelmed." She's like, "I don't even have to go to the grocery store right now to do stuff, because what's on here is the stuff that I would already have in the house." And so I really want the person to have a measure of being bought in as well. So you're not just giving me money to tell you what to do. You're actually learning, and we're going to reframe your thoughts about food, about exercise, what it means to be healthy, and all those great things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have had the unfortunate pleasure of working out with Brandon. Not no time recently because of COVID, but probably early on, maybe about 10 years ago.
Yeah, right around that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. And I think sometimes when we're in this circle, I know my friends are professional, but it's hard to see them as being professionals sometimes because we're like this. I don't get to see them in their element all the time. But Brandon and I are co-creators of a program together at our church called Get Moving Magazine, that we have ran for 3 years. I would say very successfully prior to the interruptions of COVID.
Man, it was going well.
Going well. But in that program, I'm very much just the technical person, just the numbers person, the spreadsheet person. That's me. The nutrition stuff, the exercise stuff, that was all coming from Brandon. And, like I said, I don't see Brandon at work because we don't work together, but seeing him do Get Moving, like that's really his element. He was really educating, and, he's a really good instructor when it comes to exercise as well. He's very good about breaking it down to helping the person who's in need. So he really tries to adapt the workouts to the person. These are all of the nice things I'm going to say about Brandon, and I will not be repeating.
Y'all just heard compliments from Tiff. I won't get another compliment until 2022.
Yeah,
definitely.
That was it for the year.
That was all.
Yeah, overload. So Brandon, do you want to orient us to the episode?
Yes. Well, this episode is all about me. No. No, we are going to be talking about health and wellness during these Corona times. And January is a big month. We're at the very tail end of January, right at the beginning of February. But there are a lot of folks that had New Year's resolutions, that started new programs, new diets, new exercise programs. And we just really want to kind of dive in a little bit and what some of this stuff means. We're going to go into some myths. We're going to talk about BMI, what's important, what's not important. And really, at the end of this, what I would like for you all to have is just a starting place. Not necessarily something where you're going to take this and accomplish every goal, but hopefully you'll be able to start something and really move. And of course, if you need further assistance, I am more than happy to do that, to help you out with that.
Mm-hmm. 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 So I think it's important as we talk about this, we talked about last week how these Corona times is very unscripted. We don't plan stuff. We're not professionals in this realm, whatever Brandon is. But I think it's very important that we all kind of talk about where we are in our own health journeys, because we're kind of on a spectrum here amongst this group of friends. So I'll let them go ahead. Whoever wants to jump in and start first.
I'll jump. You want to go small?
Sure. Let's the least the least
the
of
least
us,
of these.
the least the least likely to exercise should go first. And just just go ahead and get out the way. I've had a very interesting relationship with health and fitness. I think my focus has always been, and for the last several years, is eating right, is eating healthier. And I think that that's most of where my emphasis is. Y'all hear me and see me in the kitchen cooking all the time, and I'll share with you all some of the things that we're making. And so it's really more about trying to find like fresh foods, good foods. We eat out sometimes, but trying to make sure that we are trying to teach our son healthy eating habits, and trying to stay healthy in that realm. My husband, I said I was going to talk about my husband. He works out 5 days a week. So exercise is definitely in the house. There's a treadmill that needs to be set up for me, one of those portable ones. But for me, it's really about staying active and trying to just move every day and get outside and walk, which I am lightweight successful with. My exercise over the years has been very spotty, but during COVID, it's just been important for me to get outside and walk and get my blood flowing. So I don't think I'm on a health journey. I mean, I'm always striving to eat healthy, but in terms of exercise, y'all gotta help me. I'm not on the journey.
First of all, we're not going to help you because anytime anybody tries to help you, you don't do it. So.
Yes, I do. I looked at the stuff Brandon sent me. I opened the link. I opened it.
What stage of change is that? Is that the pre-contemplation or contemplation?
Oh, it's before pre. If there was a stage before pre-contemplation, that's where I would be.
That's where you be.
I'm kind of intermediate. So more than Simone, but less than Brandon. And you'll see when Brandon starts talking about what he does. I'm very much less than Brandon. But I started my health journey, I'd say 11 years ago. So back in 2010, when I noticed that I was getting rather chunky. I didn't like it because I'm short, 5'2". I didn't, being short means you don't really carry heavy weight well. So I didn't want to be unhealthy. That was most part. I didn't want to be unhealthy. I didn't want to have heart conditions. I didn't want to have be predisposed to any conditions. So I wanted to change and get healthy. So I changed my eating. Shout out to my grandmother who helped me change my eating by forcing me to change my eating. Simone's mom helped some, gave me different things to try and look into. And then also I started exercising a lot. That's when I started exercising with Brandon some, really started to pick up my gym game, became a little bit of a gym rat. I've done everything from boxing to kickboxing. Had Simone doing some kickboxing with me, I'm sure.
I was going to say, for your bachelorette party, you had us at 8 rounds.
9
rounds.
Yes, I may have been the person I've ever known to have a exercise event for a bachelorette party.
I just laid in the floor.
Oh, enjoyed it so much. But now still exercising. My struggle is probably the eating healthy. I will say that getting married has tanked my eating life all the way. It has really messed up the rhythm because we have a lot of eating out. We go out. Prior to COVID, we go out a lot, eat out dinner a lot. We're now maybe in the last year or so starting to really get in the kitchen and cook more and trying to take good stock of what we're eating. So I blame my poor eating on my husband because he's a bad influence. He's not here to say nothing, so I can say that right now. He'll be mad on the comments tomorrow when he watches this.
That's fair. That's how early married life is. Same for us.
Yes. Nobody told me about that part. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And about now exercising about 4 to 5 times a week, just trying to eat healthier and trying to avoid the word diet. We don't say diet over here. We just try to make healthy lifestyle changes and, drink our water and be healthy. Yeah.
There it is. Tiff was talking about, you don't exercise as much. I only work out 5 days a week.
It seems like more. It
does. All that cleaning you do is exercise.
Yeah.
That's being active. Mm-hmm. For me, health is a big part for me because a lot of it is mental health as well. That's where I get up my frustrations. So I gotta work out. It's rare that I go less than. I try to get in at least 4 days a week of exercising, and eating well is not necessarily a struggle for me. I grew up in a very healthy household. My mom always made sure we drank water, ate vegetables, things like that. So for me, as I've gotten older, I've gone back to those habits. Like for me, it's easy to pick up a salad. I mean, it's not any stress or anything like that. Vegetables, I love all my vegetables. I love most fruit except for dried fruit, and it's just a part of my life. And what I really like to do is for other people to see that it can be a lifestyle and not something how you have to just live on this special way of living. Like your regular way of living just happens to be a healthier way to go. So yeah, I don't do too much more than the average person. I work out 5 days a week and I eat like I'm supposed to. I eat out. I have the occasional donut. Yes, the occasional donut. And I just try to live. I live in a world of moderation. If I have a lot of food one day, I'm not going to have as much food the next day. If I have a lot of sweets this weekend, I probably won't have any sweets the rest of the week. So it's just I'm in tune with my body, and I know when I've done too much and how much I need to lay off for my body to kind of get back to normal.
Yeah. And that also goes, I mean, that's kind of in your household too, because your wife works out as well. And then you work out with your kids too. You teach them how to work out or to,
Yep. So we are a pretty active family. It's nothing for us when the weather's nice to go out to the park. My wife, she's up. She runs 3 miles every morning and then lifts weights after that. So, it's always easier when you have a household that's for that.
I'm glad you talked about like the actual like what happens in real life. So one day you might have Brandon said an occasional donut. I'm going to throw him under the bus and say an occasional dozen donuts for Brandon.
She right.
You had 8 waffles the other day. You said 8 waffles. We're not. And don't stop it. Oh, sorry.
It was 9.
Yes, but I was like, how?
I don't know where you put that. I can't eat 2 waffles. I can't.
I can't eat 1.
Yeah, it's
not filling.
But I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of times people think about their eating as like a whole spectrum. Like if I messed up Sunday today, that I'm just ruined.
Right.
Right. Gain 10 pounds. I'm never gonna get back on track. But one of the things I have learned in my own health journey is to just take it day by day. And if you do have a day where you messed up and you've overeaten, you don't go so hard the next day. You adjust your workout to account for that the next day, or you adjust how you eat the rest of the week to account for that, because you don't want to deprive yourself of stuff. Like you can't live your life and never have cake. That's not the way to go.
No, that's not
what the balance is of that.
And really and truly, when you really get down to it, our health is the sum. Not totally, because I'm going to take away environmental factors. I want to take away food desert and food accessibility. I want to take away those things. But a lot of times our health is the sum of consistent actions. And so if I were to splurge 3-4 days out the week, then you'd be seeing more of me, because that's the sum of, right? Versus it only happens every once in a while. We tend to have this all or nothing mentality when it comes to our health. And that's a terrible way to live, because some days you're on, some days you're off. But if you do mostly good for a long period of time, you're generally going to be just fine.
And I think that is so hard for so many people to grasp, even as in my job as a psychologist, I hear that all the time. Young women, usually young white women, they come in and they just have these body image and eating concerns, and they are really restricted in what they're eating. And I see it progressing, getting worse and worse and worse, where they're just thinking about, how they ate, oh gosh, I ate 20 peanuts instead of 10. You know what I mean? And it gets worse and worse and worse until they're throwing up or they're just restricting for the whole day. And it's like there's no balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really just appreciate the way you're talking about it.
I think for us, we talked about this a little early on, but we wanted to make sure that we spend some time talking about our health because, as Brandon said, we are in the beginning parts of the year. We're at the end of the month of January, and let me tell you, if were there no COVID, and even now in the midst of COVID, I can tell you the gyms are packed right now. Even at their half capacity, they're still full right now. So this is the time of year where people are trying to get back on track. We actually looked up something that said that getting healthy makes up at least 3 of the 5 top New Year's resolutions for 2019. So that shows you how important it is to a lot of people. And it may not be it's maybe like more than getting in the gym. It's eating right or, taking care of your body, being more mindful about what you're putting into your body. All those things fit in. But those are pretty big for most Americans is, trying to get back in shape in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it is. And that's something that I see, quite a bit. I want to do this. I want to do that. And those are great. Those are great, great, great goals to have because I speak from someone, I have trainer privilege. I've lived a mostly healthy life. Haven't had a weight problem or anything along those lines. But there are a lot of folks who do, and they don't feel very good. Joints, all the joints are hurting. Don't have a good relationship with food. Don't know how to start. Don't know where to exercise. So it is definitely great to have, whether you call it a New Year resolution, whether you call it a plan or a goal or whatever, but just having the thought of getting healthy is a very good first step to have because the opposite is not pleasant.
Yeah. And I like talking about it more broad. Like, for example, I feel like I kind of shortchanged myself a little bit in terms of talking about working out. I don't work out in the traditional sense, okay? Right. I don't. But I love to run. Like if I'm with Kaden or we go outside, we run, we'll throw like the basketball.
Play, yeah.
I wish somebody would buy me a bike. I just wish.
He bought you a treadmill, so you better have to wait on that bike.
Well, she also hikes too.
I love to hike. We stay in the mountains.
That's true.
I cannot get in the gym. I just can't do it. But I love to be active. It's just I need other things.
For a lot of people, they ask, how can I stick with a particular exercise routine, or how can I continue to be active? One of the first things I'm going to tell them is find something you like to do.
Yes,
and that's it. Because we only, as humans, we're only going to do something that we hate for so long. We are grown-ups, right? So if somebody hates lifting weights, I am not going to always say, you got to go lift weights. And they'll do it. They'll do it for a couple weeks and then they'll stop because they don't like lifting weights. So I'm going to tell them the benefits. And if they don't like lifting weights, we're going to find something else that can do something similar, but it's something that's different. So, Simone, I could tell you straight up, you need to go walk on that treadmill for 5 miles every day. You're going to be like, okay. And you might do it for like one day. But going out and hiking and everything like that, if that's what you like to do, then continue doing that. And that's just the way that you get your exercise in.
But even then, when it's something you like, I think there's going to be days, like I equate it to work. Like I love my job, but there's some days I don't want to go. I feel like that mostly on the Mondays for the gym. It's like, I like the gym. I don't want to go today because it's Monday and I'm tired. And I've done this and done that. But once you get in there, oh my goodness, it's such a good stress reliever. I, just truly enjoy the time. But I would say, do something that you enjoy. I think that's why I've personally tried a couple different things because I used to like running. There was a time when I really enjoyed running and I used to do that. And then, trying the boxing, trying the kickboxing, just trying something different. Even if it's just walking, you don't have to be in somebody's gym, hitting hard weights, running on the treadmill every day to be in shape. You can just really get out and walk. Some people just do that. I see people power walking in the malls. Well, I shouldn't say see now anymore, but people used to power walk in the malls. All the time. It's just the point is you just need to do something to move around. Just move around and be active.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now that, because we had a big thing, so Corona, it shut some stuff down in the very beginning. So when everybody went on lockdown, gyms were closed. You know, equipment was flying off the racks. You couldn't find a resistance band.
Brandon
Dumbbells became crazy. Bikes. I mean, there was a bike shortage for a hot second. There was a weight shortage for a little while. Like
the Peloton stock is going up.
Peloton stocks got to be crazy.
Yeah.
So how is everything? How did Corona change you all's health?
You know you want to go.
Go ahead, Tim.
It's been interesting because Corona hit in March, and I think gyms maybe were open for like another month,
2 weeks.
Another couple of weeks before they closed down. So it was still kind of a decent time for me to go outside. I don't really do the outside thing a lot, but I do like to go outside when it's cool, like when the weather is a nice temperature. So we were doing that a lot, like to get the exercise, to move around, to go walking. And then as it got hotter, I stopped. I stopped doing that. I stopped cooking. I feel like everything I wasn't supposed to do, I was doing it. It was the total opposite. I was exercising at home, not a lot, but just like in the mornings, doing some stretches, doing some calisthenic stuff, just to keep myself moving around. I quit doing that. I feel like I just got into a slump. Like for me, when the gyms opened back up, I was in there. I need that because I need that kind of encouragement. I need that kind of group interaction and group energy to work out. So I had just lost my drive to do anything healthy. It was just like, why? When the gyms open back up, when we go back to normal, I'll get back on my health.
I think for me, I shared this before, at the beginning of COVID, I was really, really down and sad. So I was very inactive. And so that meant that my activity level, I wasn't getting outside, wasn't really eating much of anything. But then as I kind of got to, adapting a little bit better, we got outside a lot. Like I said earlier, my thing is really eating healthy. So trying new recipes, and actually was able to lose some weight. Surprisingly, when I went to the doctor, I had lost a few pounds because we were trying to, we were, active and taking care of ourselves as best we could. But Sean, he had just gotten a membership. And so when the gyms closed, he was really upset about that. And he's not as motivated to go out and run and hike as I am, but he will do it, so, and then I don't know if y'all remember all the memes about, I've already eaten all my quarantine food. So there was some snacking going on, all of that, but it's really been back and forth. And I think right now that it's cold, we don't do the hiking. It's just, it hurts to be outside. Like if it's too cold, so I think we're trying to focus on eating well. Oh, what'd you say?
Old bones are talking. That's old bones.
Exactly. So we might do a quick walk and then we back in the house. So
I know for me, it was a struggle. I actually put on 12 pounds the first month of quarantine. Mm-hmm. And, that was, gyms were closed. So I lost out on burning calories, training my clients. I had, we had extra. It was right around that time where everybody was scared of being a food shortage. Mm-hmm. So we were in Trader Joe's and Kroger buying. I remember that when the night that the gyms closed, I hit Trader Joe's. I hit 2 Krogers, just buying stuff, just buying. Mm-hmm. And then, and then my kids were here. I wasn't able to work out as much because, I had 2 kids that were here at the house and needed to wrangle them and everything like that. And we was just snacking and eating. And so after that, I stepped on the scale and was like, whoa, I'm at 229. And my weight was 217. Okay, Brandon. you gotta get yourself in gear. And it's been very interesting because it's totally different. It's a totally different kind of thing. And even though we're about to go through our second year of quarantine, so to speak, or going into our second year, basically. Not quarantine, but
don't say that.
I know, right?
Of this.
Of this, whatever this is.
Yeah.
It's just it's still odd. It's still an
Mm-hmm.
unprecedented time.
Yeah. Can we talk about the kids for a second? Because Kaden was eating 300 meals a day. Okay. Because, you know, at school, they're regimented. You know, they have their meals and their snacks. 300 meals a day, and his shirts were becoming midriffs. Your stomach is huge. And you just, every time you walk in a room, you're chewing. You're chewing. I'm like, what are you eating?
Was it nuts? That's what he's eating.
Right. It's not, and it wasn't good for the kid. It's not good for my son anyway. It's not good for him. So we were doing exercise videos in the morning, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, this negative effect for a good stretch of time.
Yeah. I feel like we're like almost a year in. It's hard to say. Almost a year in of COVID. And I think we're still just learning how to adapt, you know, just hitting our strides with working at home and schooling from home, all that good stuff. I think the same is for our diet and exercise. I think, you know, many of us, that's not the primary thing. Like the biggest thing is like adjusting to working from home, adjusting to doing school from home. I don't think we're thinking a lot about our, you know, physical health, our mental health, and that aspect of COVID. You know, I might have even shared this on here before, but I was saying that last time I went to the doctor and got my blood work and stuff checked, I was iron deficient. I was vitamin D deficient. And that's because I don't go outside anymore because why? You know,
I told you to go outside. I said, Tiffany, go outside. And you were like, no, I don't need to.
No, I don't need to go out there.
Getting Tiff outside during the spring and summer.
So hard.
Boy, that's just tough.
The first time I see a bug, I'm inside. I'm not coming back out till the bugs die. That's it.
No. But it's a good point though, because it just affects everything. Your mood. You got to get out and get fresh air and just get the sunlight. We need that. And even just for a little bit, because it was affecting, as I was saying earlier, is our mood. My mood, Sean's mood as well, when he didn't go outside very much because he, you know, he was obviously works from home, but also the gyms were closed. That really is his therapy. That's what he calls it. And, you know, it would just really you could feel it in the house. Like, okay, something's not right because he can't get his outlet. He doesn't have his outlet.
I recognize that totally. You need a place where you can go and just release the stresses of the day and also feel like you've accomplished something. You know, I think that's probably a bigger thing for me in this time where you can't really see your accomplishments. I do feel like, okay, I'm looking at my Apple Watch and I've completed the movements. I've completed the task for the day. I feel like I've done.
Closing your rings.
Yeah, I've closed my rings.
You guys, when I hit, and I'm not ashamed to say, like, okay, Brandon, what is a normal amount of steps to put, like a steps goal?
6 to 10,000.
Okay, well, mine's below that.
Way
my goal, and when I do hit it, because I don't hit every day, I feel nothing. I don't feel proud. I don't feel anything. So what is wrong with me? I don't feel happy when I meet.
You know what? It don't matter if you feel a certain way. Your body counts it, and your body is appreciative of you doing it. So
okay, I'll take that. I don't feel the excitement though, but I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That doesn't motivate me. The only thing, I guess we can get kind of segue into, you know, getting healthy versus staying healthy. But for me, none of those things motivate me. I don't want to do any of this, to be honest. Like, I don't want to exercise. I like what exercise does. I like the vanity aspect of it as well as the mental health aspect of it. But I don't love to exercise. I don't love to eat the way that I eat. I do that because I want to stay healthy, and staying healthy is a big goal of mine. I do have 2 kids. I want to see them grow up. I want to have grandchildren and maybe even great grandchildren. I want to do those things. It's going to require me to stay healthy. You know, closing my exercise rings, doing my heart rate. None of that stuff motivates me. Like, not at all.
I feel
like, but I like it.
I feel personally attacked. I love closing my rings. Okay,
and that's why that stuff is big. You know, some folks need that push. I know some of my clients have a MyZone heart rate monitor, and I wear one as well to kind of see how hard I'm pushing during my workouts. Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to get X amount of exercise points over the course of the month. And so it's for some of my clients who may be short towards the end of the month, they're kicking it in high gear. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I gotta get it. And, you know, some folks love that. But for me, that's something that has just like never motivated me, like at all.
Mm-hmm. The competition aspect is motivating for me. Like, you know, I have the closing the rings is for the Apple people. So if you have an Apple Watch, you know about closing.
Here we go. The snobbery.
Okay.
The Apple snobbery.
Any chance I can get, I'm going to plug the Apple. But anyway, you know, there are other.
Can Eve eat an apple? Get us where we are right now.
I eat apples.
One day we're going to talk about that.
I eat apples. Okay, sorry.
As I was saying, okay. I appreciate the competition aspect of it. You know, if I have a little group of other people, and you can do this also with Fitbit, it doesn't have to be just Apple exclusive. There's other, I don't know what y'all have on Android for y'all's little movability or whatever, but you know, just to think of other people on it with you who are competing with you, and then Apple will give you little rewards or whatever. I think it's nice because I'm seeing something I've done, you know, be completed for me. So that helps me, because then I feel like some days I feel like I just haven't done anything. So, you know, I'm glad to see that I have done something. I did get up and I did that. I have quantitative results for what I've done. So I appreciate that aspect of it. And I'm glad that we're talking about getting healthy versus staying healthy, because for me, getting healthy is so temporary. You know, I want to really focus on staying healthy or being healthy. Back in, 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, it'll be 6 years this year, I had a stroke. And I think that my recovery was great in part because I was very healthy. You know, I was running at the time. I was very active. You know, the stroke was some sort of medical fluke, which we have discussed a lot this week. But
crazy.
Being down like 3 days and coming out and recovering after that, like with no deficits, a lot of that was just due to the fact that I was a healthy person. I ate healthy. I was doing things to stay healthy. So that's, for me, again, I'm always thinking about my health. Like Brandon, I want to live as long as the Lord allows. You know, I want to enjoy my life and I want to be well. So I'm trying, that's my goal, is just to try to be healthy and happy. I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. I want to feel comfortable in my skin. I don't want to be carrying around extra weight, because it is uncomfortable to carry all that around with you.
And I know for me, and I'm, you know, sorry to jump ahead of you, Simone. Not more important than, but in addition to, I want to live a long life, but I want to have a high quality of life. And I want to be able to, you know, if my kids want to go whenever this Corona stuff is over, my kids want to go to Kentucky Kingdom, or they want to go to Kings Island or wherever, I want to go, and I want to have the energy to go all day with them, drive back, and not miss out on anything like that. You know, I don't want to just be like down for the count because we did X, Y, Z, or not be able to go certain places because I'm so tired of this, that, and the other. So for me, it's the quality. I want my sleep to be good. You know, I don't want to huff and puff walking up steps. You know, I don't want to be in as much pain as, you know, as I could be, depending on the situation. So there's certain, for me, when I'm talking health, as much as I like the vanity, I like how I look in my clothes and this, that, and the other. It's really those other things that I like more. I like being able to sleep with no problems. I like to have a lot of energy and always be ready to go at a moment's notice. I like to never be sick. I mean, knock on wood, but I like all those.
You're gonna be sick next week, guys. Just
right.
Or even bounce back faster.
Bounce back even faster. Yeah. But the things that is hard to I like the things that are hard to quantify, versus the things that we, you know, you weigh this amount, you are this tall, you can lift this amount of weight. That's all well and good, but those other qualifiers to me are just as important to me. And even my thinking, you know, going to, all right, Brandon, you had way too much cake today. All right, no more cake.
Pound cake.
No more, right. No more cake for a week. Just having that mentality in my head, to me, that's a health thought. You're like, okay, you know when you had enough, and you know when you need to. You're in tune with your body. You're like, you know what, anymore is going to be too much.
And some people's threshold is off. They don't know. They're out of control when they're eating. They have no control whatsoever, and just feel terrible after having binged. And so it means, I think we take it for granted, but knowing when you've had enough is really important. And everybody doesn't have that. Everybody does not have that switch. What I was thinking about was how important it is to start new habits and to start new ways of doing things. I don't know about you all, but I know this is a little bit off the path that we set, but just wondering about growing up, did you see examples of working out? Did you see examples of eating right? What were your influences growing up? Because I know for me, so of course, y'all know my mom works out heavily. She didn't start working out until age 40. And so prior to that, my grandparents on both sides of the family, like, I did not see eating healthy. I did not see working out. I mean, we would have dinners for everything, which we still do, right? But after that, you gorge and you go to sleep, and then you get up and you do it again. There wasn't a lot of physical fitness talk. There wasn't a lot of healthy eating talk until the later years. And so this is kind of something new for our, it's something new in our family, in our lineage, I guess, in our family.
Yeah. And I guess for me, growing up, I've always been a small person. Like, I can always, still can, wear little kids' clothes, if I really wanted to. I can get an extra large out of the kids section. But I've always been small. So I never really even thought about weight or exercise or any of that, probably up until college. And I didn't get the freshman 15, but I got like the junior year. It came through and I was like, oh, what is this? It wasn't going nowhere, but we had never done in my family, no big exercise or anything like that. I think about my uncle who was a Marine. He was big on physical fitness and exercise, but I wasn't with him all the time. So that didn't really reflect upon me. And then I was also just a person who never had to exercise and never really overate because I was just tiny, up until a certain
time. And you never finish your food.
I never finished my food. No. Mom would dog me. She was like, you're not gonna finish that.
You're
like,
chewing and you're not.
I always had that luxury, but then as you get older, you start putting on weight, it gets harder to take it off. And I think that's especially true for females because we have a lot of other things at play. So that was probably my first realization of, oh, I'm picking up weight and I can't just drop it like I used to. So I did not really start even pretending to exercise until I got to college. And even then it was really just pretending. I was going in there just, riding the bike and, oh, this is fun. And it wasn't nothing really happening. No sweat was being broken in there. But even in my home amongst my family, I would say that not unhealthy eating. We always taught to eat our vegetables. We would always talk the importance of drinking water. But there were a lot of Sabbaths where I ate and went straight to sleep. I feel like we eat now, we just go in food comas. That's what happens to us. That's part of my Sabbath tradition. You eat your Sabbath dinner, you take a night nap. That's just what happens to you. But I don't know. I think now as an adult, I feel like I'm forging my own path of what it means to be healthy and what it means to eat right and what it means to exercise in our own home. I'm trying to set that standard for us in this house. But no, I didn't have a lot of that. Let's run to the gym or let's go run. We would go out and play and stuff, but yeah, beyond that, probably not.
See, I did, but I didn't.
Well, you played sports too.
That is exactly. So growing up, my mom is really into like natural healing, things along those lines. We were told growing up, before you turn on the TV, you gotta drink water. And if you don't drink your water, and you turn on the TV, you're not watching TV today. Like my mom was on that. my parents fluctuated. They had us sometimes we were vegetarian. We were vegetarian until my dad couldn't stand it no more, and then he didn't want to be. He didn't care if we ate burgers or whatever.
Veggie food
But
nasty. Just sidebar.
say what?
Veggie food used to be nasty.
Yeah, and so, but we were always encouraged to be active, and we did lots and lots of yard work. We always were outside playing around, riding bikes, exploring. So we never were told you need to do this to be healthy, but it was just always encouraged to do that. So I never went to a gym or anything like that to lift weights until really college. My high school we had a weight room and whatnot, but I didn't really care about that like that at that point. I played sports, but my school that I went to wasn't an athletic type school, so it was more we were more the academics. So it wasn't like you tried to play well, but it's what it is. But after I got to college, that's when things kind of picked up for me, and I actually got a trainer while I was my freshman year. But yeah, it's kind of like we ate healthy growing up, but it was not told to us why we were eating. It was just the atmosphere.
The way of life.
It was just a way of life. It is a way of life. So for me, the healthy lifestyle really is an easy life for me because that's kind of how I grew up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we talk about those things that's very important. What you learn as a child, I know what you guys are teaching your children now is super important. So they can, the whole train up a child model and the way they should go, having them exercise and eat right. I know you all have been talking about that a lot with the NTI stuff. And, how do you keep the kids engaged, especially when it's cold? Like, what are you all doing to keep them moving around now?
Kaden is very, very active. So of course we'll get outside and we'll run up and down the what have you. So he loves that, but he's very active and he wants to play. And I find that he likes to fight too, but with balloons. So it end up being like a basketball type of game. And so that is his activity. That's what he does. And he's out of breath. He's like, oh, I need my water. Drinks water constantly.
They're so dramatic.
Very dramatic, very dramatic. But he loves, his zucchini and his broccoli. He loves all the interesting foods. You don't see a lot of kids out here eating. Not interesting, but it's just, green vegetables.
I love that he asked for that. You're right. A lot of times when we talk, he's asking for where are my oranges, where are my grapes. Yep. So I love that he's interested in fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, that's his thing. So yeah, that's what we do.
Same here. And my son, 3, so roughly the same age as Caden, I guess, roughly. He is just super active. If I didn't have to take him outside, I don't have to take him outside at all. He can just do everything in the house because he runs around, climbs on stuff, jumps around, does this, does that. When we're outside, he's running. My daughter needs something a little more structured. She's 7. So she's in that. I like to watch TV. I like to do my Chromebook and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate. I do have a workout room in my home. And so the kids, we do go in there and I put on some music. Right now, they are loving MC Hammer.
Okay.
That's how you say that.
Okay. Nice.
I'm like the Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em album. They are wearing that album out. My kids love MC Hammer. And so we get into the workout room and we have a little bit of a dance party in there. We will lift some of the weights, but just something to keep them active and so that way they can understand that it's a part. And fortunately, I'm blessed with a spouse that runs and does all that stuff. So, if they get up early, sometimes they'll go downstairs and try to do what mommy does. And, they'll try to do what I do sometimes. So having that model of this is just life. This is just how we live. We get up, we exercise, and we eat like we're supposed to eat.
that more supports the narrative of that staying healthy model, because you're implementing habits that will stay with you forever, like they're just continuing to be active, continuing to move around, whatever it is, continuing to have a good relationship with food, however you eat healthy, continuing to do that. Those are things that are going to stay with you versus always trying to just get healthy, because I feel like that's just so temporary. Like when we talk about things like not dieting, but making healthy lifestyle changes, because diets are temporary. How long can you not eat bread? Like I can't eat bread.
I need bread.
A diet is a temporary solution for a permanent problem. That's all a diet is. And until someone is committing, and that doesn't mean a particular diet can't help spring you towards healthy behaviors. It does not mean that it can't do that. But you have to understand that a diet is temporary. There's no diet that is supposed to be
forever.
If you look at all of the mainstream diets, they're not forever diets. They are for a short amount of time. So you have to understand that you have to make this a total lifestyle change.
And I like that we're talking about this more holistically, not just talking about working out, but also, eating. But also we have written down here sleep, which is so important. I think people forget about how important sleep is. And I know we joke on here, me and Tiffany get less sleep than Brandon.
I get lots of sleep.
Well, you do, but we sleep at different times.
It's different intervals.
We sleep at different times. But it's so important to just back to the kid, like teaching your kids how to sleep.
Yep.
Because you really do have to teach them how to sleep. And I didn't understand that until, of course, I had one. I was like, okay, this is kind of like a skill that we have to help him build. But if you're not sleeping well, you're not going. Your rhythm can be off, and it just throws everything off. You don't have the energy and the fuel that you need to do your day. So, can we talk about sleep a little bit and how? What's the research or whatever say about sleep, Brandon? Whatever it is.
Whatever it
said.
It's going to be funny. It's not funny per se. So there are a couple of things when it comes to sleep. Number one, did you all know that Black people sleep less than white people?
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all.
I want to say that at last look, it is, I believe Black people get between 1 to 2 hours of sleep less than white people. So what that does, that goes in towards our health challenges, right? Because sleep, for those of you who are not familiar with what sleep does, sleep is the most slept on benefit that gives you the most benefits. All right. If you don't sleep, you can kiss your weight loss dreams goodbye. If you don't sleep properly, you can kiss your strength goals goodbye. You want your performance goals goodbye. Sleep is the major key. Overeating at night, I can probably link it back to you not sleeping enough.
That's what I was thinking.
Because your mental health goals too. You have to, if you're working on your mental health, you need to get your rest.
Have to sleep. You have to sleep. If you want to maintain your hormones, you want to regulate your hormones, you have to sleep. If you want your body to stop hurting, in a lot of cases, you have to sleep. Sleep is probably the most important thing that we're not doing. And it's hard for a lot of folks because we have our phones. There's so many shows to watch. For parents, that don't get a lot of time away from their kids. Maybe the late nights are the only time they have, and so you want to watch TV, read a book, do this, that, and the other. And it's totally understandable, but your sleep takes precedent over all of this. Sleep is again the most important part of this thing that we're just not doing.
And for me, there's a cause and effect factor with sleep. I think you said it, like when you're up, you're snacking. And it's not always the case, but I do find there are more wonderful advertisements for all the things that are still open after 11 o'clock. They're coming through at 1 and 2 in the morning. And folks who don't have a lot of willpower, you're seeing these commercials and these places are still open. You may want to go out and eat. And I think there is a direct correlation to staying up late. You're probably eating something you shouldn't be eating. Or overeating, or snacking, mindlessly snacking. So those things don't help either. You just really need that time. I say a good 10 hours. I love a good 10 hours. If I could get 10 hours, I would sleep 10 hours. But, at least 8 hours. You need that time to just really reset.
Those need like 7 to 9, I believe.
Yeah, it's different for different people, I've read, but 4 or 5 hours, that's not
that ain't gonna cut it. But one important thing, I know folks are looking at weight loss and everything and fat loss during this time period. But one thing sleep does do, if your sleep levels are low, your hormones leptin and ghrelin are impacted. Now, that may not mean a whole lot to you if I just say leptin and ghrelin.
No, it does
leptin
not.
doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing.
Them sound like characters from Harry Potter to me.
Leptin is the hormone in the body that decreases hunger. It inhibits it's a hunger suppressant, basically. Not getting too sciencey. It's basically used to suppress hunger. So when your sleep levels are low, that hormone drops down and your ghrelin hormone beefs up. Ghrelin is your appetite-inducing hormone. And so some of that could be linked to your body saying, well, if you're going to be up, we need the energy. And so we need to eat, right? So that could be that. But if those hormones are out of whack, you're going to find that not only are you going to be eating more maybe at night, but over the course of the day, it's going to be hard because those hormonal levels, instead of being in perfect balance, are off a lot. Appetite-inducing hormone up. So hard to stop eating during the day. Hard to stop doing those things versus when everything's in balance, your body's regulating how much it needs to eat this, that, and the other. So sleep just on that alone is super, super important.
Wow. So when I'm angry, and hungry, it's because
you're not sleeping enough, man.
I'm not sleeping and I'm hungry.
And you're not eating.
You know how you do.
I'm better now. I've gotten better. Y'all give me my pride. I've been eating.
All right, you better now, but for a minute.
It's situational.
But if I again sleep. That is so important. It's funny because it causes a cascade effect. If you don't sleep well, you will be tired the next day. We get that, right? So the workout that you did, that you thought you burned 1,000 calories, but because you were so tired, you couldn't put forth the effort, you only burned 500 calories. You thinking that you burned all those extra calories, maybe decide to have a higher calorie meal. And then all of a sudden you keep doing that. And therefore the pounds keep coming back on because of the sum of all those calories start to add up, all because of a lack of sleep.
And I appreciate that there's a balance to this too, right? So you can't just get all your good sleep and magically lose weight and get stronger, right? You have to do this in 3 parts. So you have to eat right, you have to exercise, and you can't just do one really strongly without the others. So you can't just go to the gym and hit the gym really hard or exercise every day or move around every day and still eat how you want and lose weight. It's all a balance, together. So you have to eat right and exercise and get your sleep and drink some water, right?
Yes.
Drink some water.
But how much water?
Listen.
Let me tell y'all a secret. Y'all ready?
Listen, I'm here.
Sure, you ready for this? You ready for this industry busting secret? You heard it here, folks.
What is it?
We don't know how much water you need.
So the 8 glasses of water, 8 ounces, or whatever it is
it's just made up.
Arbitrary number.
It's arbitrary. It's made up. Now, I will say this. All jokes aside, it's a good thing to do because you're like, okay, 8 ounces, that's 1 glass, because we know that drinking water is important.
Yes.
And we know that certain people do well with goals. And we know that if you tell someone, well, I need 8-ounce glasses of water over the course of the day, that you know what? Yeah, they might be, that's cool. That's at least really cool for them. Some people need 100 ounces. Some people may need a whole gallon. But what you have to do is be in tune with your body. And you have to look at some of those signs. But water is very important. And if you exercise, you will need whatever number you think, add like 20% to that. Because you're sweating and your body needs it for expelling waste and everything like that. So, I tell people to have, to drink water consistently throughout the day and eat a wide variety of foods, because your food, if you eat a wide variety of your food, there's a lot of water. So if you're eating vegetables, if you're eating fruit, anywhere from 60 to 90% of those foods are water. So if you eat a diet high in fruit, you're going to get quite a bit of water in there, especially with vegetables too. Your breads are going to have water in there, all those things too. So if you eat a wide variety of foods and drink water over the course of the day, yes, you should more than likely get enough water in.
What we're not gonna do is walk around with the gallon jugs. I'm tired of seeing the gallon jugs.
Why not?
No. I mean the water jug.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, listen, we're not doing it.
You got the little markings on it.
I'm talking about Sean again.
Yeah.
To do that.
I'm sorry if you all feel triggered and attacked by that statement, but
I love the water bottles. I think I'd be more likely to do it if I could get a cute little water bottle, which I lose them. But
I was gonna say that's a way to do it where you're not. I guess I don't want to be subconsciously counting all or consciously counting all the glasses of water I'm drinking every day. So what I will do is I do have like a 40 ounce or a 32 ounce jug, or a tumbler or whatever, and I just continue to drink out of that all day. Like if I get my goal of like my 40 ounce one is if I get 2 of those, and that's 80 ounces. Then I know
I gotta get in about 2 to 3 of these a day minimum.
And I make that my goal instead of going, did I have 4 glasses or 5? It's for me, it's easier to keep up with that. And I'm more than likely to do it because I have it with me all throughout the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So while those water jug people are funny, they're a method to the
So as a Black woman, I'm gonna just speak from my own experience. I have a very complicated relationship with this BMI chart. I don't like the BMI chart. The BMI chart does not like me. And I don't feel that it really is taking into account the uniqueness of my makeup. Okay, I don't think it's taken into account. I think this is a white chart for white folks. That's what I believe. Because I'm tired of the messages I've received in the doctor's office.
Well,
and I'm like, what do you mean? What's that word you're using? No, that's not me.
We're probably all obese according to this BMI chart.
I'm actually I'm like 2 points from morbidly obese. And it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. Like back before I got a primary care doctor, I would go and I would get I would get some blood work done. I would go to like a Walgreens clinic or whatever, and just get my blood work done. And the nurse would talk to me, and she'd be like, "Mr. Howard, according to the BMI chart, I'm 5'10", and I'm 222, and for my height, I need to be between 170 and 180." And so the nurse would be like, "Well, Mr. Howard, you're fit right now, but you need to look at losing some weight." And I'd laugh. Because I tell us that, man, that's not going to happen. And she's like, "Well, I know you're muscular now, but you just might want to look at, losing." I'm just like, I personally don't have a huge issue with BMI unless there's context with it. There's certain, I think from what I've read, BMI is accurate maybe 40-50% of the time. Right. So it's not something that is 0% accurate. All right. So, but it should be used with context. And if someone is because again, if you're looking at it through the BMI, then every football player is morbidly obese. Most basketball players are going to be morbidly obese too. So do they need to lose weight as well? Like let's think of the context of this thing. And so that's my issue when it comes to BMI. And then a quick history on there. There's an article, actually, it's on medium.com. It's called The Bizarre and Racist History of the BMI. And the guy that actually invented it is a guy that also is credited with founding the field of phrenology. And that is racist pseudoscience. That was that's basically the science of okay, Black people are inferior because of their skull size. Things along those lines. And so that same guy that created the BMI, wasn't called the BMI then, but created the I guess the BMI 1.0. He was also involved in that type of science. So off top, you already can kind of see there's a disconnect.
The origin was faulty and
exactly. So BMI is something that I wanted, and I'm scrolling down this thing now. BMI was also got big because life insurance. So if your BMI puts you as morbidly obese, your life insurance coverage could be more expensive, right?
Which disproportionately affects.
Boom.
Well, you know what? Just throw the whole thing out. Just throw the whole thing. I didn't know that.
I'm just saying.
Throw the whole thing out.
This is why we have
I'm gonna start leaning to the left when I go to the scale.
So, but again, it screws everybody because it definitely screws Black people because we're disproportionately affected by a lot of that stuff. But it screws a lot of people as well, all because again we're basing some of your life insurance rates on a faulty system there.
Right.
And so that became, and it also became something that was really mainstream, I want to say in the 80s and 90s. And so doctor's offices, that's all was in doctor's offices. And overnight, people became obese because the regulations changed and the BMI became a thing. So people who weren't obese Tuesday became obese Wednesday whenever they did the switch, right? And so it's just it's a very interesting thing. And for those of you that don't know how BMI is calculated, it is only by height and by weight. There's a formula for it, but it only takes height and weight into account. It does not take muscle mass, it's not body fat or anything along those lines. It is just your height and your weight, and there is a chart that tells you where you are supposed to be. Again, I'm 222. I'm supposed to be between 170 and 180 to fit into a normal BMI. If you're looking for different ways to judge whether your weight's where it's supposed to be, I tell folks look at their clothes. If you're losing weight and the scale's not going down, your clothing is a good way of doing it. Taking before and after pictures is always a great way. Looking at your face, a lot of times weight loss is gravitational, so you'll start seeing your face get a little bit smaller first, and then it'll start to go down. So there are way more ways to tell that you're getting healthier than going through the BMI.
And also, I would imagine if you're feeling better, like you're just feeling better, maybe just you're feeling better, sleeping better.
And for anybody who wants to look it up and Google it, BMI is body mass index. If you want to look up that information just to see for yourself, to become more educated about it.
I'm not saying never use it, but I'm not.
But just know the truth about it. That makes us that we talked about what it means to have when you are obese on this chart or whatever on the BMI chart. And how the conversation goes in your doctor's office, because it can be a really negative, like demeaning and reductionist conversation, And my doctor, who I had in Louisville, I had a Black doctor, and she told me, she was like, forget about the chart. Let's talk about your tone. Like, let's talk about, how differences between where you were last year and where you are this year. So she mentioned the chart, but she was like, no. So I just appreciated the nuanced conversation that we had about my weight and talking about how to make better changes So there are doctors out there who will take a different approach, and that it doesn't have to be that that way.
Well, like we said, all of us are probably obese on the BMI chart. Because I don't think I'm 5'2". I'm probably never going to be 115 or 120. That's probably just never. I'm never going to be there.
High school, senior year, maybe.
Yeah, but no, not as a grown woman. That's probably not going to happen. But the other things need to go into it. How do you feel? How do your clothes fit? As Brandon was saying, that you can consider as far as are you making healthy choices? Are you being active? Like those things go going into the whole conversation as opposed to just focusing on what that
one numbers. Yeah, exactly.
And this is the thing. The individuals who know they need to lose weight know they need to lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Come on.
They know. Exactly. They Why know. I say that over and over again. Yeah.
They know. They know it. They know they need to drop some pounds. So a doctor telling them, well, you need to lose about 50 pounds. That's not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. But you have to start talking and asking these questions. And one of the things that healthcare is starting in small levels to do is recognizing social determinants of health to go along with some of these factors. Mm-hmm. And when you're looking at, okay, I have a client or I have a patient who's overweight, and it used to be you just tell them, all right, you need to lose 30 pounds, or you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. That was the only thing. And now we're like, okay, I have a patient, but let me dig a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. Oh, that person is on a fixed income and they're getting a lot of their food from food banks.
Yeah.
Oh, those are some of your carby, more processed. Oh, okay, so let's hit it from a different way. Let's teach them how to eat. Let's teach them how to eat if you're getting food from XYZ. Exactly. Oh, that person's in a food desert. Oh, so they only have access to. Well, don't tell them not to eat at McDonald's, because guess what? McDonald's might be all they got. So what can they get at McDonald's?
That's healthy.
That's healthier for them.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to approach this thing a little bit differently. And if we approach it to where the practitioner and the patient, client, whatever, can come together and do this and work together, then you're going to get a lot more success and a lot more buy-in versus just telling somebody, go lose weight.
And, I think that's instilling hope too. When you teach people based on the circumstance that I live in, I can still do this. I can still make changes.
Yes.
That helps people to feel hopeful and builds resilience, as opposed to telling them, you're doing terrible, you look terrible, your weight's bad, lose weight, without giving them any skills or even thinking about their context. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like this idea that health and wellness look one way. Yeah, and that you have to do a certain thing a certain way and live in it. And everybody is not like that. And I think if nothing else, COVID has absolutely taught us that. And so that is so important. And I think we need to talk about that more.
Education is really key in this. I think it's extremely helpful. Like a lot of times, growing up, or even just as a young adult, I was conditioned. I go somewhere, I get the number one or whatever from whatever place I'm going to, McDonald's or whatnot, and not really think a lot about the calories or the nutrients or the macros or anything like that. But really learning about that and trying to educate yourself. If that's all you have is McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, you can figure out ways to eat healthy within those places just by educating yourself on what it is they offer. Maybe it means you don't have to get fries with every meal. Maybe it means you go for the wheat bun instead of the white bun. You make out changes. Ask for no dressing on your salad or whatever.
Exactly. Get the vinaigrette.
Yeah. That's right. Using a less creamy dressing. There are things you can do with the means that you have, where you don't have to always. Some of our things is just because we don't know. We don't know better. We haven't taken time to be educated on something.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to point out, me and Sean were talking about how bougie we are now. Growing up, I ate every day. Every day, my grandmother took me to McDonald's, and I had a Happy Meal every day, and it was $2.11, and that's just what it was every single day. Mm-hmm. Hayden does not know nothing about. He's like, a happy what?
A Happy Meal.
I'm sorry. He knows nothing, and I'm like, we gotta get this boy a Happy Meal, but we just don't eat like that anymore. It's just.
It's not $2.11 no more neither.
It sure ain't.
I heard.
It's totally different now.
We were talking about eating fried chicken. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get my chicken and get my grease. Sean's like, we can't eat that. It hurt my stomach. I'm like, back in the day, we was eating it. It didn't hurt our stomachs then, but now it's like, because we eat different, so it doesn't hit the same.
And that's an option too, because some of these places have a better kids meal than they do a regular meal. Like I know Chick-fil-A, you can get grilled or small portion of nuggets, or grilled or fried, and you get fruit with that, or you get like a light juice or a yogurt or whatever. That's more healthy than having the fries and the nuggets. So there's again just other alternatives.
There's ways.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So we are getting to the end, but I know we still have a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. So before we do, I think y'all okay with hitting maybe some of the
myths.
Yeah, some of the myths real quick.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Brandon. Cardio versus weights. If I just run all the time, will I lose weight?
Yes, you will.
But your knees are gonna hurt. What?
No, but where is that weight coming from? Not all weight loss is good weight loss. And if all that you are doing is running, you could potentially start losing muscle mass as well.
Oh. And
so your body...
You get weaker?
Say what?
So you get weaker?
Potentially, down the road. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So if you're doing a low-calorie diet and a bunch of cardio, you're definitely stripping your body of a lot of muscle at that point. So for me, you do both. You do cardio and weights. You do cardio because your heart needs it. It helps with blood flow. Your body needs, your brain needs that blood to be circulating, properly. So you need to do your cardio. You need to do your strength training for balance, for muscle building, for strength, for resiliency in your joints and things along those lines. So you don't just do one or the other. You do both. You do both.
Yeah.
What is this? The fruits make you fat. Who wrote that?
It wasn't me.
That's
that foolishness. Blasphemy.
There's so many folks that believe it.
It's not true?
No.
Okay. No. When I'm up late, that's what I eat is fruit.
No, it's not. I'm gonna make this plainly clear. What makes somebody gain weight is eating more calories than you consume and burn. That's you can call that CICO, calories in versus calories out. So if you're calories in, calories out. If you're ingesting more calories than you are burning, that's the only way that you gain weight. But a lot of folks will say that eating a lot of fruit is bad for you because of all the sugar.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but that's not nuanced enough, because fruit has also fiber. Fruit has also a little bit of protein in it as well. Not a lot, but a little bit of protein. So it's not just straight sugar. It's sugar attached to other things as well. Right. So no, but there are so many people who are like, oh my gosh, I can't eat fruit. I can't eat this. Like, no. If you are a diabetic, you may need to modify the type of fruit that you eat, because some fruit is higher in sugar than others. So let's not say that you don't have to be watchful of certain things, but we need to have a nuanced conversation. A lot of people just like, oh my gosh, fruit is so bad. Fruit, all the fructose and all the sugar that's in there. And it's like, really?
Thank you.
Okay.
Eat 5 bananas. You can't. Eat 5 apples at one time. You can't. It's too hard to. No.
Okay.
You're not going to overeat fruit.
Okay. Do I have to exercise every day?
No. Do you need to be active every day? Yes. Activity and exercise are totally different. Activity is just spur of the moment. I hate to define a word with a word, but it's spontaneous movement or activity. So going outside and playing with your kids, that's activity. That's not exercise. Exercise is structured. That's the difference. And so, you do not have to exercise every day, but you do need to be active every day.
Okay. Now, what about supplements? I grew up in a house where there was a certain person who took Many, not my mom, not her. Took many, many, many supplements. I mean, the table was crowded with different things. Do we have to take supplements?
No. Supplements just give
Supplement.
Supplement, and we are really like one of the only countries that really do this. We just supplements for the most part just give you expensive urine.
Oh.
Because really and truly,
yeah, you pee it out.
You just pee it out. And for the most part, again, there's nuance. If you are vitamin D deficient and your doctor says take a vitamin D supplement, you need that. Right? So if you have been diagnosed as being low in a certain thing and you may need your doctor says get a supplement, by all means get it. But unless you have been diagnosed with XYZ thing, for the most part, you don't need any supplements. You don't need it. All the multivitamins, if you look up all the studies, there are not very many studies that recommend anything.
Okay.
Now, I personally take a multivitamin. I take that as just in case. There's no harm in a multivitamin generally. So I'll take a multivitamin, and I take fish oil because I don't eat a lot of fish, and there's some fats in fish that could help with brain health and with heart health. So I do take fish oil, and I do take a multivitamin, and I do drink protein. I have protein powder that I use to help with extra protein, and I take creatine for strength training and things along those lines. I take 4 things. Those 4 things have some science back behind them. All right. For the most part, everything else, you just spending a lot of your money on.
And when in doubt, if it's not a general vitamin, like what Brandon mentioned, the multivitamin, if it's something more specific, I'd always say talk to your doctor about it first. Ask.
Talk to your doctor.
Yeah, ask. Like it can't hurt to say, I'm interested in taking this particular vitamin or whatever for whatever reason. Is that okay? Will that interact with anything else I'm on?
That was exactly where I was going to go with next, because a lot of folks are taking medications, whether it's for blood pressure, whether it's for asthma or COPD, and a lot of these supplements negatively interact our body's way of absorbing that medicine. So you really have to be careful. Some folks love grapefruit juice or grapefruits. Grapefruits interact with a lot of medications. So you really have to be sure that if you're taking the supplement, you need to talk to your doctor about it. You need to really be on the lookout and compare what medications you're on and what kind of supplements you're going to take. Because worst case scenario, you could definitely kill yourself.
Yeah, you're contradicting
if you don't do it properly.
So you're talking about being educated and informed about what you're taking, and if you're taking something, having a reason for it. This is why I'm taking it, and this is what like you talked about the science backing it up, and also talking to your healthcare provider. So that makes a lot of sense, because I've seen folks just take stuff, and this one does this, and this one does that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. And the crazy thing
now
is,
you're blind.
And not to get on and not to stay on this for too long, but there's even there are 2 different types of vitamins. One is fat soluble vitamins, and then one is your regular water soluble vitamins. So your fat soluble vitamins are like vitamins A, D, E, K. All right. So if you take too many of those vitamins, you could poison yourself, because there's no way for them to be flushed out. Versus your vitamin C, you would have to take so much vitamin C to do you some harm, because a lot of it just gets what your body doesn't use just gets excreted out through your urine. But for your fat soluble vitamins, if you take too many of those, because we have the mindset of if some is good, more is better. You take too much of those, and you could really start poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that doctor conversation is twofold. Even if you don't ask your doctor for advice before you take it, when you see your doctor and they ask you about what medications you're on, report in. Please be honest.
Even the vitamins. Yeah.
Even the vitamins.
That's medicine too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they need to know. Because again, they could give you something to treat something that you have, and you're taking these vitamins as supplements, and you may be canceling out the benefit of the medication.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. And then your doctor, and again, it becomes a process. Okay, I've prescribed you this medication, and obviously it's not working. But the doctor doesn't know that you're taking all these other supplements going along right with it. So the doctor's like, okay, well, this dosage isn't working. Then maybe we need to double your dose.
A higher dose.
We give you a higher dose.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you a higher dose because it's the lower dose wasn't working. Again, not knowing that there were all these other supplements that you're taking, right? So just that there could have some effects.
And sometimes they don't ask you. They ask, "Are you taking medications?" They don't ask, "Are you taking vitamins or supplements?" Which
yes.
Maybe they. I feel like they should, but sometimes your brain, like, no, I'm not taking any medicine, but I take a 1-a-day vitamin, and I might not think of that. But yeah, we have to. That's a good point. We have to remember that. Yeah.
So last one: will weightlifting make women bulky?
No, ladies, lift weights. It's so important for you to lift weights. So important. And I mean, not even say lift weights. It's so important for resistance training, whether it's body weight, whether it's resistance bands, whether it is dumbbells or barbells. You need to lift weights. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, more muscle mass equals a higher metabolism. That's the first. And as we get older, number two, and this is for everybody, but a lot of times for women, because women have less muscle mass than men on a whole, right? So, but after 30, 35, you lose muscle mass. And so, I want to say it's between 5 and 10% each decade after 30. So if you're not replacing it, you're going to just continue to lose it. You're going to continue to lose it. For a lot of women as well, when you're talking about, we're looking at strength, and for a lot of women, because of breast tissue and things along those lines, that causes upper back and lower back issues. Lifting weights helps you support that a little bit more. So you can lose your pain. We can have less pain by lifting weights as well. So again, lifting weights is not going to make you bulky. The women that you see in the strong women competition, they are doing particular workouts to do that on purpose. It's not accidental. They didn't accidentally become a strong woman. They are lifting weights. Some of them are taking different supplements, some that are banned, some that are not. So no, just because you're starting to lift weights does not mean you're going to become super bulky and all of a sudden somebody's going to say you should join a strong woman competition. No, that happens on purpose. It happens on purpose. Women lifting weights, that's not going to make you bulky at all.
Okay. Yeah, this has been like the best this has been a really good conversation. I did not expect to be so into it.
Yeah. I want to throw an on the fly question at you guys. I want to double back, but I'm kind of going to put a different spin on it. We didn't do exercise tips or eating tips. We kind of skipped over for time. So I just want to ask each of you for one of each, one eating tip, one health tip that you would give to somebody in the current environment that we are in with COVID. So while y'all thinking about it, I'll go. One eating tip I would give is to educate yourself if you're going to eat out prior to. Google the menu, look up what you want to eat before you go, make a plan about what to eat. That's very helpful so that you're not kind of looking with your stomach when you get there and you're hungry, you just want to order whatever looks good. Think about all the things you've done throughout the day, as Brandon said, the sum of the activity and not just like one part. So think about whether you exercise or not, how active you're going to be tomorrow, you're going to bed early or not. Think about those things when you're planning your meals, especially we're in an environment now where we're just going to eat out more. Bottom line, we're just going to eat out more. We try not to, but it's going to happen. As far as the healthy tip, I'm going to hate this one because I'm not doing it myself. Go outside.
Do as I say, not as I do, huh?
I'm gonna try to do it more. I went outside and played in the snow the other day. Because I'm cool with cold weather. I'm just not cool with hot weather. So, that's something too, because I hadn't been to the gym last week because I was quarantining myself. So I did not go to the gym this past week. So when it snowed, I went outside and played in the snow for 20 minutes or whatever. Just something where I'm not just sitting on the couch or sitting in this spot right here. So that's my health tip, is just get active, do something, go outside.
What was your first tip? Your
try to plan your meals when you eat out. Try to look ahead and research where you're going and plan a meal based on with some education behind it.
I'm gonna say, and not meal prepping, but meal planning. So has been very helpful to us to sit just for even one meal, like for dinner, because people tend to eat more for dinner for whatever reason. I feel like we really pile it on for dinner, and so deciding what you're gonna eat for dinner like Monday through Friday, that's been helpful for us, because then we know what to buy and we're not just out here like, oh gosh, we don't have any food, we don't know what we're gonna eat, so let's just go eat out.
You know what,
so we will do that.
When I did that, you made fun of me.
I did, because of the tuna. It was the Tuesday tuna that I did make fun of you. But we do that not consistently, but when we do it, it really, really helps us to kind of make a better choice and not overeat and not eat out and spend money.
Right.
I'm just gonna say drink water. I don't know. I can't say nothing. Go outside and drink water. Those are the two things that I do. So I'm gonna say do those.
For me, what I would say for eating, this is going to go counter to a lot of the culture now, but I would say eat a great breakfast. I know fasting is in, and a lot of people that do intermittent fasting or IF, they tend to not eat breakfast. I am a big proponent of breakfast. Just because you eat breakfast does not mean you all of a sudden lose weight or gain strength or anything like that. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But what I have seen a solid breakfast do, number one, it sets you up to not be hangry over the course of the day. And if you get a good breakfast in early enough, it'll last you over the course of the morning. And so a good breakfast prevents bad decisions later on. Because if you got that good solid foundation, you're not going into lunch super hungry. You can pick something that's more sensible, if you do all those things. So eating a good breakfast can save you quite a bit. When it comes to exercise or any other type of healthy deal, I would say, I guess since exercise is my thing, I would say get your exercise in as early as possible.
I always tell myself I'm going to go walk earlier because then I can take Kaden with me. But it's just, it usually happens. Everything happens to me later in the day. But
and for a lot of people, that's perfectly fine. But I know that for a lot of us, once that sun goes down, it's a wrap. And once it gets later, especially if you're working and this, that, and the other, and it's hard getting off of an 8 to 10 hour shift and then switching gears to find the energy to exercise. It's hard doing that. So I have found personally that getting my workouts in earlier is like a launch pad for the day. My productivity is better, and it's one less thing I got to worry about after work.
Gotcha.
I definitely prefer in the evening, but when you do it in the morning, it is one thing that's out of the way and done for the day. You have to get the rest of yourself.
Right. So I know that we always talk about being respectful of people's time, and we are here at 10 o'clock. And I know we have been respected the time, but it was such a good discussion and so needed because, we should talk about health and fitness. We were supposed to talk about the All-American. I don't know how much time we want to spend on that, except for to say that it just continues to be an amazing show. And these kids is out here. They just out here.
These kids is crazy.
Doing what they want to do.
Spencer thinks he's the coach. He out here dishing out advice like somebody asked him a question. Nobody asked you.
No one.
And Coop just always saying, me.
And always in people's mess. Like, just listen. What's his name? Preach said, let it go. No, man, I'm not falling for that.
I can't let it go.
I can't let it go.
Would y'all let your 18, 17-year-old high schooler cavort with it's gotta be 30, 40-year-old man? Would you allow it? If you're not an uncle, no.
And not just a 40-year-old man, but a 40-year-old convicted felon. Like
Convicted felon.
Second strike. No, y'all can't be hanging out.
Can't be hanging out with a regular like this.
I need to know you. So,
The plot thickens. I need to see things unfold again. We got a little bit more about why was it Layla? No, Olivia apprehensive about the summer because she showed up on action. Yeah, she popped up.
Yeah, she popped up and saw
something. You should never pop up.
Didn't pop up.
I know. I would have went down to the beach, down in the water. I'm not gonna fly here to see you and not see you with somebody else. And
all I'm gonna say is all I'm gonna say is all I'm gonna say to that is, fellas, I'm talking to y'all. Fellas, don't let your girlfriend get in the way of true happiness.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on.
You're making these men.
Don't let your girlfriend get in the way of true love.
Go ahead and have your summer shenanigans.
Have your summer fun.
Hot boy summer. Okay.
Y'all had the hot girl summer last year. It's hot boy summer.
Unacceptable.
That is a note of which we need to wrap up the All-American.
Yes, absolutely. So you all don't forget, we are so Tiffany's trying to make a love month happen.
Yeah,
we're gonna have love for at least 2 weeks.
We're gonna have some love
month. And we have our singles panel coming up the first week, the first episode of the month, and then we're gonna have more of a married folks conversation the second, which is Valentine's Day, the day after.
Valentine's Day weekend we'll record.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So we have that coming up. We have some special guests coming out for you all. Would y'all add anything to that?
I'm just looking forward to the love month.
Whatever.
Oh, we also have a Love the Skin You're In episode.
Yes. So quickly, what are y'all's gratitudes?
Oh wow. I'm just thankful to see another day. Like I said, it's been a long, sad week this past week. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity to wake up and have breath in my lungs and the activity of my limbs. So
go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
I am thankful to be able to give knowledge to folks about health and wellness from a non-scheming point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Non-scamming point of
much
view.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. I'm just looking ahead a little bit. I'm glad that I have an easy day tomorrow. I don't have a lot going on tomorrow, so it gives me time to get caught up and to I took self-care this weekend with the hotel, so I didn't do too much in terms of getting myself prepared for the week. So I'm glad that I have tomorrow to kind of ease into things. So that's what I'm grateful for. Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, folks, till next time, we want to remind you to stay safe in these Corona times.
Wear your mask.
Yes.
In the gym too, people. Two masks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about two. Some people are wearing two. Some people, Sean's wearing two. He's in there. Yeah, for sure. Wear your mask.
Yeah, wear your mask, stay safe, all those things. And, as a constant reminder, we want to still say it's always still justice for Breonna Taylor. The wheels are turning. They may be slow moving, but the wheels of justice are turning. So we're just going to keep working on that effort. And until next time, King Brandon.
We remain yours.
We remain yours.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.